Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the final day. I'm getting a late start on the actual day, but no worries, we're gonna go through with this. We are finally gonna tackle these damn heads and take them off the Z06 and send them off to get quote unquote fixed. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever worked on an LS, so this is all going to be new to me. Do I know what I'm doing? Absolutely freaking not, but I'm gonna go ahead and tackle it anyways because YOLO. Anyways, where to begin? It's probably a good idea. I mean, this is gonna be like part one of the video because I'm gonna remove the heads, but I'm also gonna do a cam while I'm here. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and drain the oil. Done that. I'm gonna now drain the coolant from the radiator, because I'm gonna be removing this whole radiator section to give me more access to bring out the actual cam. Then we're gonna go ahead and remove the intake system, the valve covers, the actual intake manifold, the exhaust manifolds, all this bracketry and pulleys up front, and I think that's actually it. And then we can just go ahead and take off the actual rocker covers, take off the rockers, and then pull the heads off. Yeah, it sounds a lot easier when you're saying it, but we'll see how it actually goes along. So first things first, gonna say a couple of Hail Marys, throw some prayers up, and go ahead and tackle it. As you can see, the car's in the air. I'm draining, pretty much doing a complete fluid flush on this car as well, so you'll see that in a different video. But oh yeah, look at this. Had one too many burnouts with this car. This Michelin Pilot Sport is done. I'm surprised it's still holding air. Kind of dangerous driving around like that, but we're gonna go ahead while the car's down, probably get some new tires, maybe even get these wheels power coated chrome like I was talking about, but we'll see. More importantly, I'm more focused on getting these heads off and shipped out. Not shipped out. It's like I said, we're gonna get them fixed. Who's gonna fix them? I haven't decided yet. I have a new potential vendor that I want to try out. It's either gonna be American Heritage Performance or West Coast Custom Choppers. No, West Coast Cylinder Heads. I hear they do good work and they have an awesome porting service to the heads that really make these LS7 heads breathe even more. So I'm kind of interested in that. So we'll see. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and I guess I'll get a time lapse started and just start tackling this car. Wish me luck. Let's go. Alrighty. Sadly, ladies and gents, we are gonna have to stop for the night due to the fact that I do not have the right tools to go on any further. And what I mean by that is that I forgot GM uses these stupid fuel line disconnect. I mean, I guess they're pretty ingenious. Like, you know, you don't have to use like worm clamps or anything, but you need a special tool to disconnect those, and I do not have that. So we're gonna have to stop here. What I got done so far is though I removed the coil packs on both sides, I removed the air intake, I removed the radiator shroud, I drained the coolant, drained the oil, removed the upper radiator shroud, and pretty much the intake manifold is ready to come off. As like what I wanted to get done till today is just pretty much take off the intake manifold, but due to that stupid fuel line I cannot. As you can see, it's ready to come off. And I would take it off if I didn't have to deal with that fuel. I guess I could take off the fuel rails, but I want to take it off in one piece because I want to leave as much as I can together so I don't have to, you know, remember where everything goes. And it would just be easier to disconnect that line with the proper tools. So I'm gonna end it here tonight, pick up tomorrow when I have the right tools, and we'll go from there. So peace. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are finally back on the Corvette, pretty much picking up where we left off. I went to Harbor Freight and got that tool that I needed finally to release the fuel rail. As you can see, they're right here. I know you can actually make these with like aluminum soda cans, but you know, hey, if there's an actual tool for it, might as well buy it. So 6 pieces. I'm sure it's like gonna be this size, 1/2 probably. And all you do is wrap it around the fuel rail, push it against that line, it releases all those tabs, and you're able to pull the line off. And we'll go from there. So now that I got that tool, we can finally get this intake manifold off. And then I think after that, I'm going to go ahead and tackle the radiator setup. And after that, all the bracketry. And then we'll crack open the valve covers and start disassembling the heads. Oh God, this is pretty scary. All right, let's get to it. Oh, look, and I also bought a freaking air compressor. Man, I went to Harbor Freight for a $3 tool and it's spending up like $200. All right, back to it. Time lapse going now. And there it is. God, that took so freaking long. So, everything's pretty straightforward. The only struggle I had with this motor, with the intake manifold, was this hose back here. This guy, right behind this sensor. This guy's really hard to get to. And you can't, I tried disconnecting it from the brake booster right here. And hopefully just taking it with the intake manifold, but no, because of that sensor you cannot feed it through this little gap. You literally have to disconnect it from the intake manifold, and it's really hard because there's like no space back here. Luckily my tiny-ish hands were able to fit back there and get some pliers and get that snap ring loose and whatnot. But anyways, dude, This is freaking wild. Let's first thank my boy, Mr. Ron. Come on, focus. Ron Hine for building this motor. Michigan. You did a great job. It did not drop a valve, and I appreciate you for that. Other than that, let's go ahead and look inside. So as you can see, these heads are actually CNC ported from the factory, which is insane, dude. Like, what stock manufacturer CNC ports their heads from the factory? So I just thought that was pretty wild. I wanted to show you all. You can see those CNC marks inside the chambers. Looking pretty nice. And dude, these things are huge. No wonder these motors are literally known as the air pump, because like there's so much volume and CFM you can fit in those chambers. But yeah, now that the intake manifold's off, we can go ahead and start taking off these radiator hoses and get the radiator assembly out. I want to leave the AC stuff in though, because excuse me, I do not want to, what is it called, evacuate the AC system and then recharge it. So I know people get away with leaving the AC condenser hooked up, but some people just take this whole unit out as one. But I'm gonna try to leave it like that. Might be extra work, but in the long run I know it'll pay off. So now that we're done with that, we can go ahead and move over here. So back to the time lapse. Oh my gosh. Okay. As you can see, that shit, sorry for my language, is finally out. I get it why people take it out with the AC condenser, because this is so much work to get the radiator off without the condenser, because they're pretty much attached on these 4 tabs right there. They're on both sides. It holds it in place so well, so you're literally fiddling with it for so long. I honestly, it took a solid maybe hour and a half just to get that radiator out. So if you guys have a machine to evacuate your AC system properly and just take off these 2 lines, one right here and one right there, this will come off in like 20 minutes. But the fact that I don't have an evacuator, or didn't want to make a mess just releasing this Freon everywhere, I went the hard way, and I regret it. I regret it so much. But yeah, now we got some room to play. Next thing that I'm gonna do is loosen up the headers or exhaust manifolds and set this motor to TDC, and then start taking off these valve covers so we can get to the rocker arms, and then the head stud bolts. Actually no, what I'm gonna do is work on this accessory drive. I know you gotta take off that alternator bracket in order to get there, so yeah, let's go do that first. Damn, I honestly don't know which car I hate working on more, this Vet or DSM. But anyways, okay, let's see, where did I leave you guys last off? I think I left you guys with the radiator out. Still right there. I hate you. Like I said, I was gonna go ahead and tackle the accessory drive and belts and whatnot. So what I did is, sorry I didn't record much, guys. This is just really tedious work. It's boring stuff. But anyways, loosened the tensioner, pulled off the belt. Then I went to go ahead and tackled all the power steering brackets and bolts. So here this guy is. And then you have your, what is this? This is like your ABS module. You're gonna go ahead and loosen that guy up, and then you're gonna go ahead and loosen the power steering cooler up. You're gonna see it right there. Dude, this car has literally ducting for everything and a cooler for everything. So you have your power steering cooler right there. You have your trans cooler right here, I think. or engine cooler actually. Yeah, that's your engine cooler right there. And then the diff has a cooler and the trans has a cooler. It's freaking amazing. But anyways, yeah. So now that you got their bracketry all done, and oh, and the alternator as well. That's right here. Huge ass thing for this guy. So there's your alternator with the bracket that hooks up to this head. You gotta take all that stuff off, of course, unplug sensors, various sensors, and then you can go ahead and take off this exhaust manifold. There's 4 bolts, 2 on each side for the downpipe, cat/downpipe, and then there's a bunch of bolts right here. As you can see, I did this one already, so this one's actually ready to come off. And once we do that to both sides, we can go ahead and crack these valve covers open, set the motor to TDC, and then finally take off these heads. So let me go ahead and take both exhaust manifolds off, and I'll catch you guys after that. I think I've made up my mind. I prefer working on a DSM. I only say that because this is like my first time go around on this, so everything's new to me and everything is fighting me. This car, like I said, complete stock since day one. Nothing's been touched from as far as I know, so everything's like fighting me because it's the first time coming off the car. Anyways, got the header/exhaust manifolds off. There they are. These are actually quite difficult to get off. For the driver's side, you actually can take it off and feed it under without separating them. I went and tried to pull them from the top, realized it's better just to leave them connected and bring them down. So go ahead and do that for the driver's side. And then for the passenger side, this one's a lot harder to do because of all the lines and the AC condenser and wiring harnesses. So that one actually has to get split in two. Good luck trying to get those bolts. That took me forever. But I finally got them split, and I was able to bring those both from the bottom as well. Nothing can really be brought up from the top, well, at least for me. But now we are ready to set the motor in TDC and then pop those valve covers off. And just take off the rocker arms and then the head stud bolts. And the head should literally just come off. And then we can finally send them to our head fixer of choice, which I have yet to be determined because I'm still doing some research. New information has come to light, so I might be changing my original choice. So I'll let you guys know, but yeah, definitely interesting. I can't believe, for like being NA, the reason I went NA is because I was kind of tired of all the turbocharged nonsense of all the, boost leaks, exhaust leaks, vacuum leaks, all that stuff. And I figured, let's go to NA. So for the simplicity of it, however, I feel like I'm taking off just as much, if not more, vacuum lines and hoses and whatnot on this motor than compared to like an Evo or a DSM. But, hey, like the challenge. We are pretty much there. Home stretch. Let me go grab a bite to eat and then we'll get these heads off. So after the exhaust manifolds are out of the way, we can go ahead and remove the valve covers. Valve covers are fairly simple. It's and again, I'm probably gonna get flagged for this on the comments. Sorry guys, I came from the import life, so everything that I have and all my tools are still in metric, not standard. So I'm using millimeters instead of whatever these stupid Americans use. Anyways, these are 8 millimeters and 10 millimeters. So take these bolts off and the valve covers just pop off, and then we can go ahead and start taking off the rocker arms. Important thing is these little rocker arm stands that they sit on, they are actually known to break. So you got to take off the rocker arms that have no tension on them. So as you can see right here, all these are all good except these two right here. These two are actually pressing down on the valve spring, so those have tension on them. So we're going to take off all of these that don't have any tension and then rotate the motor until these are free of tension and take those off. I'm going to go ahead and take these off in order. So you want to make sure you keep them in order that you take them off. Oops, wrong one. Normally people also keep the push rods in the exact same order that they came out with the rockers, but of course, since I'm throwing in a cam in here, I'm not going to be using these push rods again, so that really doesn't matter for me. But I will keep these rocker arms in the order they came out with. So let me go ahead and loosen these guys up, and then we'll bring them over to the table. And now these, I rotated the engine clockwise until I got the pressure relieved off those rock arms. So now these are fully extended up. So we can go ahead and crank those bolts loose. So, you know, when we're actually loosening them, there's actually no tension on them, and thus saving these rocker arm stands from cracking. But yeah, after that, it's the scary part. Just remove the head studs and just remove the heads. And now that we have everything removed, we can go ahead and take off the lash caps. I think only the intake valves have them. And those are these little things you can see right there, how the exhaust valves don't have them. You can just get a magnet and this should just pop off like this. Or not. There you go. There's your lash cap. I'm just gonna put them with the intake rocker since that's where they go. Kind of hard with the magnet since everything's metal here. There you go. Put it right there. So now I know where, you know, each latch cap goes. I'm not sure if I'm gonna reuse those. See what these shops recommend. Might get new ones. I really don't see the purpose of getting new ones, but maybe it's a wear item, who knows. But yeah, let me go ahead and set these with all the intake rocker arms, and then we'll get to the head bolt sequence that we gotta follow in order to take these heads off. So now that we got our rocker arms and lash caps and push rods all nicely assembled, we are ready to remove the heads. This is the sequence I was talking about. Who's talking to me right now? Anyways, as you can see, this is a sequence for tightening or putting on a head to the LS7. They're saying to go in reverse to remove it. That's what people have been doing on the forum, so I'm gonna go ahead and follow that. Pretty much, you just don't want to take these bolts off at random because you're trying to avoid head warpage by the sequence that you remove these bolts. So, like I said, 1, 2 is how we would put it on. So we're gonna go 15, 14, 12. I mean, I can count 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. So start with the bolts up here, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. I think 10 was in the top corner. Yep. 10, and then 9, 8, 7, blah, blah, blah. So yeah. Let's go ahead and do that, and once I get all these bolts off, we can take off this damn head. Alright, so I've already taken or cracked them loose in that order that I was telling you about, so don't freak out if you see me going ham on these bolts and not following the sequence I was telling you guys to follow. Do as I say, not as I do. Can't reach that with the impact. Okay, now that the bolts are all out, I just threw them in a cup because these are torque to yield bolts, so these will never be used again for their purpose. So you don't really have to keep those in order or keep track of them. I will keep them though in case, it's always good to have a bucket of bolts. You never know when you'll need some of those things. But for their purpose as head studs, they will never be used for that purpose again. Anyways, all the bolts are out. In theory, this head should just come off. Just want to make sure there's nothing attached to it. But let's go ahead and see if I can get this thing off. without making too much of a mess. If not, I'll bring you guys along and you guys can make fun of me. So all the lines are clear back here. Alright, here we go. All for one and one for all. Oh, what a mess. Okay, well, past the point of no return. And she's off. Okay. One down, one to go. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up before, you know, I get any rust in the cylinder walls. But yeah, head number one off. Rock on. And there you have it. Here is one of the heads. Dude, I'm so happy that these cylinder walls look mint. That's what I love to see. However, there's a lot of carbon buildup on this motor. But anyways, this is a higher mileage motor anyways, so it's expected. And that's why I wasn't, you know, too worried about these valves dropping, because a lot of the times when these valves drop, they're on like lower mileage motors, like 16K, 20K, 30K, around there. I'm not near that, so just letting you know. This motor made it to 80,000 miles with no hiccups, no valve noise, no... I mean, there is these LS7s are known to tick, so there was that tick. But other than that, I had no suspicions or fear that these valves were going to drop, except all the horror stories you hear online. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and remove the lifter and the lifter trays now and put them over aside. I ain't going to reuse these. I'm putting in new lifters as well, so I don't really have to keep order of these. But if you are, you should, you know, mark them and, you know, keep track of them. But anyways, I believe this should just be like a 10 mil. Whatever that translates to in metric for you. I mean, to standard for you muscle guys. Kill me later about it in the comments. I'm still an import guy at heart. And that should just pull them up. Oh no. At least one did. Let me try again. Come up. Nope. Okay. There's one. I'll pull them all out right now with the magnet. Now that we actually got the head off, we can do the no longer approved way of seeing if your exhaust valves are shot or not. And that's called the wiggle test. The proper way to do this now actually is to compress, oops, I wasn't even looking at it, compress the spring, take off the keepers, take off the valve spring, and then push the valve out and in, and then see if you can shake it within the valve guide. But since we do not have a spring compressor, I do plan on getting these checked before I send them off anywhere, because I want to see personally how bad these things were out of spec, or if they were even out of spec, and how real this valve wear guide issue is with these motors. But anyways, this was the first original method that is no longer approved again, so take this with a grain of salt. Not really much going on here. That's the exhaust, so that's intake. We don't have to do that. Here's another exhaust. A little bit of movement. Here's another exhaust. Not much going on here, and the last one. Oh, actually, I do have a little bit of play on this one. I don't know if you can see it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Let's go ahead and take off the other head, and then once that head is off, that's pretty much a wrap on this episode. Actually, no, I wanted to get these things checked before. Then we'll wrap this episode up. So let me go ahead and get that other head off and then get to it. Alrighty guys, pretty much same thing. As you can see, I got both rocker arms, push rods, lifter tray, bolts out. Everything's nicely organized, kind of pretending, you know, that I know what I'm actually doing. Now we have all the bolts out, this head is ready to come off, as you can see. The only thing that's different about this side compared to the other side is that there was actually a bolt on the back side of this head holding the wiring harness right there to that bracket. Good idea to remove that before you take off the head studs, because then you have no leverage. And then this one also has a sensor. I left this on because the tensioner pulley is in the way, so I'll take it off once I remove this head. So now I'm just gonna make room for this head over there, and we'll go put the pairs together and see what we got. And there you have it. Both heads are finally off. I'm gonna go ahead and coat the cylinder walls with like some WD-40 or automatic transmission fluid. Make sure, you know, these things stay nice and lubricated while they're exposed to the elements. Even though it's in a garage, you know, better safe than sorry. And then I think we are all done here with the car. There's nothing really left for me to do. On the next episode, or I don't even know if you would call it episode, well, I would say part 2, we're gonna go ahead and tackle the cam portion of this build. And that's gonna, dude, it's gonna require a lot more work. But I'll explain that later in the next episode. Anyways, let's go ahead, head over to my friend's shop, because I want to take these heads to get these valve springs removed, and we can examine everything and see what exactly we are dealing with. So, on to the next location. Alright guys, we just got my heads disassembled and clean back at the old Fuji shop where we build my DSM motor. Yeah, this is pretty sad. Car made it to, like I said, 80,000 miles with not one drop valve. However, my heads are pretty bad as well. And of course, like I said, or like everyone says, it's just the exhaust side. The intake side is clean, no wiggle room ever. Once you move over to the exhaust, you got a bunch of play. Like, that's pretty terrifying. Here's another one. This one's not that bad, but both heads need work. I don't know if you can see that play.
I think that one was the worst one.
And good thing that was not too bad. Yeah, so it's these center ones on this head that are pretty bad. Good thing we pulled these things off when I did.
Oh, that's the worst one.
Because, yeah, it needs it. LS life. Before I wrap this video up, now we're back in the garage. I wanted to show both valve guide wears on each head. I noticed that when I was looking back at my other video that I only showed one of the heads. I think it was the driver's side. So this one is actually driver's side. This is passenger. So let's go ahead and check out my valve guides. We're going to check out the exhaust side only because those are the ones that are known to go bad. So here we go. This is passenger side. Let's see if we can get some movement. This one's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I wouldn't be concerned with that. Let's go for number 2. Uh-oh, this one, yeah. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, but definitely got some play on that one. That's a lot. Let's go to the next one. Here we go. Not too much on this one. Happy with that. I wouldn't mind that if I, you know, pull these heads off at 80,000. For this one, oh my gosh, look at this one. That is ridiculous. Okay, now let's go to driver. So I think it was only 2 of these that were bad. So 2 for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 2 for 8 so far. Let's go here. This is driver side now. Focus. Yeah, this one's pretty bad as well. Look at that. That's ridiculous, GM. Here's another one. Not too bad. I'd be happy with that. Here's another one. Oh, wait. Yeah, look at that. That is something else. Really. And last one. So I would say 4 out of the 8 were shot. Yeah, this one's a little bit, but not crazy amount. So, yeah, there it is, guys. Sorry to break it to you, but this issue is real. And I thought, you know, since mine was a higher mileage Corvette, that maybe I was the exception to it. But I can guarantee you that all these cars have this issue. After seeing this, like, it's just a wear item. So don't beat on it. Be safe. Get your heads fixed. Get them checked out, because sooner or later it's gonna happen to you. So yeah, that's a wrap on this episode, guys. I'll catch you in the next one, and so till then, keep tooling. I don't even know what to say anymore. All right, let's go drop off these heads.